Thank you very much for.
Thank you very much for your film. I would like to ask you in the beginning, after the incident of the tsunami and also the nuclear catastrophe, where were you when this happened, and when did you, and why, how did you decide to go into the area which you just saw?
I don't remember anymore. I think I was at my apartment in Tokyo when the quake happened, and it was pretty big in Tokyo, but it had nothing to compare with what happened in the northern Japan. And why we decided, I don't remember anymore. So I will ask my camera.
いや、本当は彼がぜひ一緒にやりたいって誘ったんですけど、だから本当は彼が答えるべきなんですけど、まあ基本的にこういう仕事をしていれば、ああいうこの間の去年の3月11日みたいなことがあれば、何かしらそれに関して、作品になるかどうかっていうのはまた別の話ですが、もちろんそれについて何かしらと記録に残しておきたいと思うのはもちろん誰でもこの仕事やってば思っていることなんでしょうけど。
Well, actually, it's a question that the director should answer, not me. I would say so. He's supposed to answer a question, but of course, when you're involved in filmmaking, if something like 3/11 happens, apart from the question if it will become a good film, a good piece, of course you have the desire to somehow leave footage, some of documentations of what has happened.
私たちの共通の師匠に土本紀明っていう監督がいましたけれども、彼がよく言ってたのは記録なくして事実なしという言葉をよく言ってました。で、先ほどご覧になった映画の中でも映像がなければその悲劇の記憶やそういうものが消え去ってしまうんじゃないかみたいなそういうナレーションがありましたけれども、そういう危惧をやっぱり私たちは共有していたので、そういう気持ちがあれば、あとはほんの少しのきっかけがあれば本当に行く。で、実際そういうきっかけがあってそれが何だったか僕もちょっと覚えてないんですけど、残念ながら、そういう形で実際にこの2人ともう1人で3人で撮影に入ったっていうのが実際のところです。
We actually have the same teacher or master of film, which is Noriaki Tsuchimoto, a well-known documentary filmmaker in Japan. And what he used to say is, if there's no documentation, then there's no truth or no fact. So this is something that we agreed on and that we shared. And as it also says in the film, that if we do not document this on film, then the memory of the tragedy will be gone. So this is something that we both shared, and I don't really remember the exact little incident which made us go to this area. But anyways, there was another crew who was with us. We were 3, and then we went and shot the film.
So it's a question to both of you. The subject matter in the widest sense is radioactivity and its kind of effects. So film is about images and sound, and radioactivity is something which we as human beings cannot perceive. So what was your concept kind of to capture? Did you have a concept beforehand? Can you describe it a little bit, to capture something which is with, you know, like the technology of film in the first place not capturable?
What you said is interesting also. It's also connected to what Kato-san mentioned, what Tsuchimoto used to say, if there are no records, there won't be any truth. So what we repeat in the film, actually Arsene Kanjan repeats in the film, where there are no images, there's maybe there are not even the fact that the things get unnoticed, even tragedies get unnoticed. Actually, that was her feeling, because she herself is Armenian, and when there is a big quake in '88, I think, in Armenia, almost nobody knew about it because there were no images. It was at the time when the Soviet Union was, or the Eastern Europe area was kind of falling apart, so there's no enough media journalists going over there. And but at the same time, cinema is about things that you show and you see. It's also interesting that in the history of cinema, always many great filmmakers have actually dealt with invisibility. If I just name a few people, I feel quite a few of them are German. Fritz Lang, Friedrich Murnau, or Pabst, or Tarkovsky, of course. So many great, or to a certain extent, I would say Hitchcock and John Ford also dealt with invisibility. So in a way, to deal with something that you cannot see is an interesting artistic challenge for me as a filmmaker. And, so how did I do it? I think you've seen it. Yeah.
You mentioned Arseni Kanjian,
yeah.
who an actress,
yeah.
Armenian.
She's Armenian. She was born in Lebanon,
yes.
Beirut, and she has to leave Beirut when she was 17 years old, and she could not go back to Beirut until 28 years later.
And she's the one who spoke the voiceover.
Yes.
So can you explain a little bit about the voiceover, why you chose her, and in general why you chose to integrate a voiceover?
Well, first of all, we had so many ideas about who is going to do the voiceover. My first idea was just kind of a fantasy. At the beginning I thought of Jeanne Moreau. Then for a short time I even thought of Hanna Shigura. And, but when it comes to a realistic choice, and also because to have somebody extremely famous like Jeanne Moreau, then that might kill also the film. That the film is going to be about her voice and not about what it shows. And but finally, I chose Arsene also because she's the wife of a very good friend, Atomian Eboyan, and also simply because it's her. Because I think she's not only a great actress but also a wonderful human being, and also the fact that she herself is an exiled person, so therefore she knows how it feels to leave one's home or losing one's home, and that was one of the most important emotions that we have to treat with the film, and therefore I thought it was a good choice. And for the use of voiceovers, it's maybe part of the reason is because we are dealing with the invisibility, and therefore the language can serve for something.
Are there questions in the audience? Is there a question? I think there's a question over there.
I want to know, when the film was aired in Japan, which reactions did you get?
Aired?
Was it aired?
No, it's never made. It was not made for television, and.
But on the film festival, which was written there.
I think it's Screen International who wrote it, and I don't understand what the guy was thinking of, because the film starts with a 3-minute long take with no dialogue, and in the middle we repeat the same shot, totally silent. I don't think any TV chain would be happy to run something like this. I think I'm going to have a lot of problem with television people when I'm trying to sell it. But we are trying to sell it.
And in the cinemas, like in a film festival?
It was shown first at a festival called Tokyo Film X. And also I screened it a few times in the city of Iwaki, the city that you see the old couple in front of their old house. And the reaction when I show it to Iwaki or when we showed it in Tokyo, the reaction from the people from Fukushima was just more than just being warm. It's a very strong reaction, and they loved the film, and they even asked me to continue shooting the suite. And for the reaction of the people of Tokyo, I think Kato-san can answer better than that.